Studio, we welcome now Jay McDaniel, the Executive Director of the Mississippi Gaming Commission. Jay, good to see you again.
Yeah, good morning, Gerard.
Well, I got to tell you, I was down on the Mississippi Gulf Coast last week at an event with the Gulf Coast Business Council. My friend Jamie Miller that runs that organization down there doing a great job. And we went to dinner the night before at the Beau Rivage. Man, the place is packed. I mean, so we got to be doing well.
That's great to hear. Yeah, the state overall, I'd say across the board doing well, but particularly the Gulf Coast. Those casinos down there doing it right, bringing in out-of-state visitors for not just gaming, but like you said, fine dining, other amenities. And we're glad to see it. Yeah.
So in terms of the revenue generated to the state, I haven't checked on it this year, Jay, but I want to say last year, 260 million total, something like that?
Yeah, it's around that. If you count the gaming revenue plus the non-gaming, it's about 300.
Okay.
But yeah, around 200 million in gaming tax revenue. We decreased in 23 from the year before. It went down about 3%. But I think that's just kind of a natural retraction. With right after COVID, everything boomed. We went up to $2.6 billion. The last 2 years, it's fallen off a little bit, and of course, a lot of that's the economy, less discretionary income, but still good tax revenue to the state.
Yeah, and then some of that gets diverted locally, right?
That's
based
correct.
on statute.
That's right. About 3.5% to 4% will go to the local county or a municipality, depending on where the casino sits.
Right. So something that's going on in the legislature this year, I'm quite sure you guys have been tracking rather closely, is the prospect of mobile sports betting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, House Bill 774 is still
Casey
alive.
Urey.
That's right. It's passed the House pretty quickly, pretty smoothly. It's still alive, and as you say, it would legalize mobile sports betting. And that bill particularly, it tethers it to our brick and mortar, so they could continue to operate, but they would then partner with a platform outside of their casino walls.
So presently, that's available, but it's geo-fenced. You have to be on the property.
That's right, exactly right. We have about three properties right now that are doing it. They're all Gulf Coast properties. There's a fourth that's about to come online where you can walk through the door and your mobile app goes live. And they're going ahead and doing that. Some customers like that. They can walk in and wager while they're eating dinner in the restaurant or something like that. But if we were to go live statewide, they would already be prepared to send it across the state. So, yeah, we do have some properties that do it. The other properties, you have to physically either go to a kiosk or a retail, someone at the counter to place a bet.
I got you. Yeah. So this would allow mobile sports betting within the state. It would be geo-fenced within the state's boundaries, but still attached and associated with one of the casino properties.
That's right, because the law would still say the only legal gaming is on a casino or through a casino.
Yeah.
This would just allow them to, the wager would still be made with that casino. It would just be through an app. And Louisiana does it somewhat similarly. Tennessee is, our neighbors, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Louisiana all have it. So, but each one's a little different. Louisiana doesn't have brick and mortar. I'm sorry, Tennessee doesn't have brick and mortar, so they just have the apps. Yeah. Louisiana's got a combination of retail and app, and we would be very similar to that structure that they have.
I think when Representative Urey presented the bill, he estimated it would generate $25 million or so of annual tax revenue. Is that right?
That's what he said. Yeah, there were a bunch of different numbers that have come out, but if you just look at what Louisiana does, if you look, and we've got a similar, they've got a little bigger population, but still a love of college football and sports betting.
Yeah.
I think we would hit somewhere close to what they're doing, and that would put us in about that 25 million range.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I believe the status is, as you indicated, it passed the House pretty smoothly. It's passed the Gaming Committee in the Senate.
That's right, with some amendments. So I believe it's headed for a conference is what it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. If I were a betting man, Jay, I'd say we're going to get something out of that. I mean, it just kind of feels like it. The fact that it came out of committee, even with amendments in the Senate side.
Yeah, it's certainly better. The last few years, a bill has been authored and never even come out of a committee. So the fact that we've gone through two committees, it's a signal that it's headed in that direction. But we will see. I'm not going to put any wager on. I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. All right. So we got that going on. Any other legislation you guys are concerned with this year?
Nothing I'd say we're concerned with. We do try, we put our input in when we see gaming bills, and there's another bill that's still alive. It's a Senate bill, 2780, that has to do with Tidelands. It's both a Tidelands bill, and it does have some impact on gaming sites on the coast. So that bill, similar to the House bill we just talked about, it passed out of a Senate committee, came out of a House committee, but again, with amendments. I think it's probably headed to conference as well, and that's another bill we're watching because it would impact where we would view legal sites on the Gulf Coast.
So did we get a decision handed down by the state Supreme Court related to this somewhat yesterday? Is that true?
There was a decision yesterday, you're right, that had to do with a tidelands dispute between a local owner. It wasn't related to gaming, but it could impact eventually whether a site would be legal or not. So, yes, it has been a decades-long lawsuit fight between the Secretary of State's office, going back even before Michael Watson. This is a long-going, you basically had a private landowner that said he owned the land, and the old tidelands map that was drawn said, no, it was state tidelands. And that Supreme Court handed that down yesterday and gave it's a very small parcel, but did say that the private landowner had the ownership of it.
Okay. So I assume that means you got to go back and research a lot of land records and so forth, and depending on the age of those, a little different than what that looks like today.
Yeah, and it's an interesting case if you want to read it. It talks about the Spanish land grant. It goes back to the 1700s. It's fascinating. But somebody did their homework and their research, and the Supreme Court agreed with them on that.
Wow, incredible. All right, so what about the prospect? I know you probably couldn't tell us if you knew, but of any new licenses being granted for new casinos. What can you talk about there?
Well, right now I don't have any applications pending for any casino licenses. We did grant a site back in December for it was a coastal site that's been approved, but currently no application to build anything on that site, which is the next step. So we have a lot of gaming sites, Gerard. They're great gaming sites, both on the river and the Gulf Coast, and have not had anything built since 2015, since the Scarlet Pearl in D'Iberville. So, yeah, I'm always, we're pro-business. We'd love to see anybody that's willing to do it within the law. But right now, we have 26 commercial casinos, which is a lot for a state our size. And so it's tough for someone to come in and say, I want to try and crack into that market.
It's pretty saturated.
The ones that are here, I say, do a good job. As you mentioned, the Gulf Coast, the product we have is a good product. Yeah. So as of right now, I don't have an application for anything currently.
Any additional buzz coming out of Alabama about the possibility of them authorizing casino gaming?
That's something we always watch. That there was a very comprehensive bill that started in Alabama. It was full online mobile gaming, casinos, lottery, all of it. Yeah. That got scaled back. I think it's still alive, but a much more watered down version, maybe allowing just lottery, maybe allowing just a couple of casinos. The porch band of Indians over there have a gaming facility in South Alabama and some other tribal land that they operate. It's not full Class 3 casino gaming, but there's some discussion about allowing them to maybe expand. So if they were to do it, I would love to see either nothing or very, very limited amount, obviously. Yeah. Anything in the southern part of Alabama or even North Alabama would definitely have an impact on our properties.
Well, we pay attention to that at the Lottery Corporation as well.
Absolutely.
Because it is a state that I think drives a lot of business to Mississippi.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Especially with the folks down on the coast that work at Ingalls. There's a lot of employees that come over from Alabama on a daily basis. And I think in that corridor there's a lot of lottery ticket sales because they don't have a lottery in Alabama.
Yeah, we see the same thing. We talk about that with the mobile bill. If it were to pass, I think you would see a lot of capturing that. If you do it before they do it, it's probably going to be better. So.
Yeah. Any other states, do you guys keep up with this, that are considering allowing casino gaming?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You see bills at least introduced just about everywhere. Texas and Georgia talk about it. You don't see a lot of momentum in Texas. I think it's a matter of time before Georgia does something in the Atlanta area. Florida, right now it's more central to southern Florida, but there's talk about getting up into the Panhandle. Wow. About the Seminole tribe has a very good situation in Florida, but it's growing. North Carolina just recently went live with expanding more retail and online sports betting. So, yeah, all over the Southeast, you're seeing it.
Interesting.
So we keep an eye on it because even a Midwest casino or a Northeast casino, we get a lot of tourism that comes in, flying traffic. So whenever we see a new one pop up, we add it to the map and say that's another one less that's likely to come here. So.
Okay, sure, makes sense. What about the industry overall, Jay? How's it doing?
The gaming overall is doing well. It really is. The AGA, American Gaming Association, put out some numbers last year. And I think mainly the primary driver right now is sports betting. It's just exploded. Since the federal repeal in 2018 of the federal ban, it has just, we got 38 states that do it now. And so that drives a lot more revenue, obviously. But even the brick and mortar in Las Vegas, you see new properties being built in Las Vegas, up in Atlantic City, and even markets that are new like Chicago, just expanding everywhere. So it's popular nationwide.
I'll be darned. Was it Sheldon Adelman? Did I get that right? Do you remember the lawsuit he filed a few years ago? Almost derailed the whole dang lottery. We had to go tell the governor, well, this thing might come through, but fortunately
That's right.
it didn't go through. But he was trying to essentially eliminate any sort of online gaming.
That's right.
Which would have affected the lottery. It may have been unintentional, but it would have killed the lottery in the whole country.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of states, got behind the other side of that and got it stopped.
Jay, always good to see you. Appreciate it. Jay McDaniel, Executive Director, Mississippi Gaming Commission.
Great.